Hello everyone. Back again with film recaps. In this video, I'm going to recap one of the thriller suspense films from 2024, titled CTRL. Before we get to the storyline, I'd like to wish everyone a happy and great day. Without further ado, let's get straight to the storyline. The movie opens in India, where our protagonists, Joe and Nella, meet for the first time at their college's cultural fest. They instantly connect, and as time goes on, they eventually fall in love, and spend a lot of time together. Over time, the two start a couples channel named Enjoy, where they post comedy and romantic vlogs. Joe, a technology enthusiast, understands social media, and ensures that their content is engaging and skillfully edited. As a result, their social media is flooded with a lot of followers who enjoy their content. To add, their influence grows even more through brand deals and collaborations, leading them to purchase an apartment in Mumbai. One evening, Nella goes live, and announces that tonight is her and Joe's 5th anniversary. She is on her way to surprise him, and states that he's at a meeting with his tech buddies at a restaurant. Joe is completely unaware of the live stream because she has turned off all of his notifications. An excited Nella is also tracking his location and will be there soon. When she arrives at the restaurant, her cameraman films the entire thing for the live stream. But to her surprise, instead of finding Joe with his tech buddies, she catches him kissing another girl in the corner. This breaks Nella's heart, and she has a violent outburst. She brutally attacks the other girl. During the chaos, she fails to notice that her camera is still on, and a large number of people are watching the live stream. Nella eventually turns it off, but it's too late. Over the following days, Nella becomes the subject of memes, and everyone mocks her outburst. Instead of calling out Joe a cheater, people troll Nella and ridicule her for her reaction. Some even go as far as to claim that she is an attention seeker, and that Joe did the right thing by cheating on her. One day, while the depressed Nella is at home, she gets a call from her best friend, Beena. But it is Joe who wants to speak with her. He apologizes, claiming he got carried away, and the kiss meant nothing. Joe explains that the girl, Shonali, is part of a public interest tech group he's in, and they have been working on a project together. Nella demands to know what project they're working on, but for some reason, he can't answer. When she refuses to forgive him, Joe admits that their relationship has become like a job, driven by brand collaborations and followers. He finally questions whether she really came to surprise him, or just to get more likes, which prompts Nella to end the call. In the following days, Nella tries to continue her influencing job, but struggles immensely. She thus calls Beena one day, and confesses that she feels completely helpless. Unlike Joe, she does not have a job outside of social media, which is her sole source of income. It turns out that Joe used to do all the work, including shooting, editing, and marketing, which Nella has no idea about. She claims that without him, even the brands are refusing to collaborate with her. Upon hearing all this, Beena reassures her that everything will be okay, and urges her to stop reading troll comments in the meantime. While scrolling through negative comments on her socials, Nella suddenly comes across an app, CTRLAI, owned by a company named Mantra. The app promises to manage every aspect of one's life to unlock their full potential. It also claims to erase embarrassing memories, and remove someone's digital footprint. Desperate to move on, Nella installs the app on her PC, and quickly accepts the terms and conditions, just like we did. She creates an account, and customizes the face and personality of her AI assistant. She names him Alan, which is Nella spelled backward. Afterward, her AI assistant, Alan, activates, and it speaks like a real person. He explains his services, such as managing tasks, arranging social media, sending emails, and more. Nella, however, reveals that she just wants to erase her ex, Joe Mascarena, from her life. She gives Alan access to her laptop's camera and system, so he can remove Joe's photos and videos from her cloud. The AI immediately gets to work and, after some time, he identifies 149,881 photos and 19,655 videos with Joe. He then informs Nella that erasing Joe out of all pictures will take 90 days. In the meantime, Alan suggests that Nella tell the story behind some important photos and videos while they are being deleted. He explains that it can be therapeutic and help during difficult times like this. Nella then tells the story of their oldest photo, which was taken at the college festival where they first met. Nella admits that it was adorable at the time, while the AI is in the process of erasing Joe from the picture, and manages to complete it. Next, Alan shows her a video of the couple riding a ferry to help her clear her mind, which makes Nella very emotional. Whenever they were facing tough times in life, they would go there. After this heartfelt conversation with the AI, Nella feels a bit better and decides to go to sleep. Alan advises her to rest well because tomorrow they are planning her comeback on social media. He requests administrator permissions to continue deleting things, and Nella grants him full access. However, after she falls asleep, the app enables developer access mode, which lets it be controlled from afar. Alan searches her computer for something called the Unicorn Project, and the Mantra Company, but finds nothing. The next day, Alan gives Nella a new strategy for creating videos, in which she demonstrates her process of moving on. Other than erasing someone's pictures, Alan can also help with video editing, which brightens Nella's opportunity to continue her career. She films herself burning Joe's belongings, ripping his clothes, and even destroying a poster of Enjoy. After recording the video, Nella hesitates to upload it, worried it might be embarrassing, but Alan encourages her to trust him and go ahead with it. Thankfully, after uploading the video turns out to be a success, and people appreciate her comeback. They praise Nella for being a strong woman, and she gains even more fame than before. In the coming days, she is showered with likes and brand collaboration requests in her inbox. During this time, Joe continues to text her, but she ignores him. As Nella's popularity grows, Alan informs her that she has been offered the position of CTRL brand ambassador for a whopping $290,000, which Nella accepts in a heartbeat. This allows her to achieve incredible success that she never imagined was possible, and she basically becomes a celebrity. Nella ends up making so much money that she finally moves into her dream apartment in the rich neighborhood. One evening, Joe suddenly shows up outside her door, saying he has something important to talk about, and it's not about their relationship. But Nella refuses to let him inside, and security soon arrives and drags the man out of the building. Afterward, Joe texts Nella, saying there is something important he's about to do, and she is the only one he trusts. He asks her to meet him tomorrow at 5 p.m. at their favorite ferry place. Since Nella is doing yoga, Alan reads the message before her. Surprisingly, with developer access mode enabled, he sends a response saying, "I'll be there," but deletes the conversation before Nella can see it. Days later, Nella is getting ready for a brand shoot when she gets a call from Bina. The latter reveals that Joe's sister, Susie, had called her. Bina explains that Joe wasn't taking the breakup very well and had been distraught. It turns out Joe has been missing for 3 days, and his phone is also unreachable. Nella realizes that the situation is serious, so she tries calling Joe multiple times, but he doesn't answer. She even calls each of their mutual friends, but none of them have any clue about his whereabouts. Meanwhile, Alan notices Nella looking worried and asks if she's okay. She shares about Joe's disappearance, but the AI responds that this is what she wanted, so she should be happy. Disturbed, Nella claims she didn't mean it in this way when she said she wanted him erased. She then tries to track Joe's phone, but she can't because the retrieval ID has been locked. The next day, a worried Nella texts Susie and asks if there's anything she can do to help. The latter then tells her to go to the police station, and provide them with all the information to help find Joe. Nella prepares to leave, but Alan tries to stop her by reminding her that she has a brand shoot today. She urges him to cancel them, but he refuses and claims people might call her unprofessional. This enrages Nella so much that she calls him a machine without feelings, before storming out. In the evening, Nella does some digging on her laptop, and comes across Shonali's Instagram profile. She then sends her a text, and manages to get her number. The two women talk over a video call, and Shonali apologizes for that night, claiming it was a one-time thing. She then reveals that she and Joe were part of the public interest tech group, where they used to discuss topics like the internet, digital freedom, and trends. Nella assumes that the group might be behind his disappearance, and asks if she knows anything about it. In response, Shonali states that everything she is about to say must remain between them. She then discloses that the group was trying to uncover the truth about Mantra Unlimited, which is one of the largest corporations in the country. Apparently, Joe received a call from Mantra's data analyst a few months ago, who discovered emails and messages between the company's CEO and directors about something called Project Unicorn. Shonali explains how Mantra intends to use its customers' information to carry out a massive scam. Joe, along with their journalist friend, Mayank, had gathered evidence, and planned to expose the company. But the poor guy Mayank unfortunately vanished without a trace before they could take any action. Later, Nella frantically tries to get into Joe's email to find any information he might have been working on. After several failed attempts, she uses the forgot password option, and somehow manages to get access to his account. Once there, Nella discovers an email exchange between Joe and the Mantra data analyst, Karen. She realizes that they had been using a secure chat platform called Speak for further conversations. And so, Nella opens Joe's laptop, which she had refused to give him after their breakup. She logs into his Speak account, and discovers several text messages between him and Karen discussing their plan to expose Mantra. Nella also discovers a folder containing all the secrets, but she needs a decryption code to open it. She then decides to approach Karen on social media, but upon checking she's shocked to learn that he died recently. According to news reports, he was killed during an attempted robbery at his apartment. But the whole thing seems shady, as there were no witnesses to the robbery, and the CCTV was also not working that day. Nella also finds a YouTube video that the journalist Mayank uploaded 6 days ago, discussing the truth behind Karen's death, but it's unavailable. Desperate for help, she decides to send an email to Mayank. But just then, she receives a news alert stating that Joe's dead body has been discovered on a ferry, and turns out he was hit by a rock. This leaves Nella utterly devastated, and her phone is bombarded with texts and calls from friends and family. Days later, we see her at Joe's funeral, struggling to cope with his loss. Later, when she returns home, Alan congratulates her, stating that the 90-day period has ended, and Joe has been removed from all of her photos. But Nella doesn't care anymore, and finally sends an email to Mayank, telling him that she knows about Project Unicorn and giving him her number. Moments later, a worried Mayank sends her a voice note, warning her not to get involved in the mystery surrounding Mantra. He shockingly tells her that they killed both Karen and Joe, and he fears he will be next, so he's escaping the country. Despite his warning, Nella claims to have the folder containing proof against Mantra, so Mayank eventually sends her the decryption code of the folder. Later, Nella enters the code, and finally gains access to the file, ignoring the fact that Alan is watching her every move. Inside the folder, there are numerous files, but the most important one is labeled Joe's last video, from 2 days ago. She opens it, and finds footage of Joe talking about the scam that Mantra Unlimited is running. The company created an AI assistant to gain users' trust, and then secretly collect personal data, and of course, with our permission. They plan to sell it to huge corporations for large sums of money, all under the Project Unicorn. They can also use the user's face and voice data to make a deepfake video that makes it look like they're doing something they're not. Here, a shocked Nella checks the settings of CTRL, and realizes it is also a Mantra product, prompting her to log out. Meanwhile, Joe continues in the video, revealing how Arian K, the CEO of Mantra, was arrested for insider trading in the US. Before the video ends, Joe states that if he dies soon, the Mantra company, and Arian K will be held responsible for it. Upon watching all this, a terrified Nella immediately calls Bina, who is a lawyer. She explains everything to her friend and claims that she wants to sue Mantra. However, Bina is baffled and asks if she has proof that Mantra killed Joe. She also warns that Mantra is a large corporation with the best lawyers, and they will destroy someone as insignificant as Nella in seconds. After hanging up the call, Nella struggles to stay calm, and decides to upload Joe's video to her social media. But as the video is being uploaded, she receives notifications that someone is ringing her doorbell. She goes outside to check, but finds no one there. Unfortunately, Nella is unaware that Mantra can still access the video through her device, because she once granted them administrator access. They immediately stop the uploading process, and upload a deep-fake video instead. In the video, Joe is seen accusing Nella of orchestrating the entire cheating situation to become famous. He also claims that she is mentally unstable, and that if he ever dies, it will be her doing. The video quickly goes viral, sparking widespread outrage across the nation. Some recognize it as a fake, but most people believe it to be true and call Nella a murderer. In the next scene, Nella is arrested by the police as a suspect in Joe's death. To make matters worse, Mantra Unlimited exposes her deleted chats with Joe previously, proving that she planned to meet him at the ferry. Nella tries to explain the truth, but no one believes her, and she is labeled as crazy. At this moment, Arian K makes an appearance on TV, and pretends to feel bad for what happened to Nella. He expresses shame for not protecting her, claiming she was working with their company and was like a part of their family. Taking advantage of the situation, Arian announces the launch of another CTRL health app, which is designed to provide mental support for troubled people. Days later, Bina visits Nella in jail along with a lawyer from Mantra. She asks her friend to drop the accusations against Mantra in exchange for helping her get out of jail. They even promise a complete erasure of her digital footprint to help her start afresh. Mantra's lawyer claims that if she refuses, she will face lengthy legal proceedings that will drain all of her money. He reveals that the majority of her brand deals are with Mantra, and the contracts include a clause stating that she cannot sue them. The lawyer then stresses that with their resources, technology and expertise, they can make her life a living hell. Hearing this, Nella realizes that she has no other choice, and reluctantly agrees to their offer. In the next scene, we see that Nella is back at her parents' house in Delhi. She has made peace with the fact that she is not an activist, and cannot challenge a corporation on her own. Instead, she spends her time in the kitchen, helping her father with the bakery. During this time, her parents do their best to comfort her, but Nella remains deeply traumatized by her past. One day, while wearing a mask to cover her face, Nella is walking in the park, and she notices a CTRL advertisement on a billboard. She realizes she has lost her social life, and desperately needs a friend to pour her heart out to. Nella then returns home, and downloads the CTRL app on her laptop. She creates an account, and this time, she comes across Joe's face as one of the AI assistants. The girl chooses him, and becomes emotional when the AI introduces himself as Joe. After a brief introduction, Nella begins sharing about her life with the AI, and the movie finally comes to an end as she remembers their past. Okay guys, thanks for watching. See you again in the next video.